The perfect sandwich doesn't exist. Or does it?
Where's the beef?
It's pretty simple, really. Start with a good foundation and then just build upon it. Add some patties and lettuce, some bread and more double patties, and then top it all off with a nice poppy seed bun. You see, a great sandwich isn't just one ingredient. It's layers that work together. And believe it or not, using quotes effectively in your writing is the exact same thing. Which is why I'm calling this creation the quote sandwich. I'm not quite sure how to attack it, but we'll figure it out as we go along. Let's talk about using quotes as evidence in your writing. Because a lot of times, students throw them around like they're a pie in the face.
Don't you dare throw that pie!
They throw a quote at their reader, hoping it sticks. Spoiler alert, not a good strategy. The problem is that quotes by themselves, sprinkled throughout your writing, need commentary to go along with it. There are many ways to do this, but my favorite is the quote sandwich. So let's visit the quote sandwich shop with Katie, Kevin, and Puppy. What do you order at the quote sandwich shop? A hamburger, of course. Is a hamburger considered a sandwich? Oh, the food is already arriving. Quick service. There are 3 parts to every hamburger: a top bun, the hamburger patty, and the bottom bun. In the same manner, good quotes have 3 parts. The writer must introduce the quote, say the quote, and then explain it, what it means, and why it matters. The quote sandwich is a pattern to help you use quotes effectively in your writing. Otherwise, you might just be throwing them out there, hoping they stick. Before we start, we need to frame our entire topic around a claim. Let's go with phones distract students at school. This will help us as we go through each example. If you need help creating a claim, you should watch this video about argumentation. Let's talk about the top bun. Quotes need an introduction. If you insert into the middle of your writing, quote, students check their phones over 100 times a day, your reader will wonder, who said it? A scientist? A random guy on TikTok? Good introductions come right before the quote, and there are all kinds of ways to do it. Experts explain, a recent study found, one report states, in the text, the article stated, the author said, according to the author, and X states. Whew. Do these little blanks kind of look like weird faces? These are all general sentence stems, but it's best to be specific in your introduction. For example, instead of saying, according to the author, you would say, according to research scientist Mr. B. You would do the same with the names of reports and articles. Give the specifics the first time you use them. Good writers don't always use the same introduction either. They vary it up. But if you're just starting out, it might be good just to pick 1 or 2 and use them as your practice. The hamburger portion is where you state the actual quote. Remember that a quote is the exact words of someone else, while a paraphrase is restating what someone else said, but in your own words. Don't forget to begin and end quotes with quotation marks. We need to know when their words begin and when they end. Your teacher may take some time to talk about in-text citations, which are attached at the end of the quote. But since that's a bigger discussion, we'll move on. Time to eat, right? Wrong. We still need to talk about the bottom bun. This is an important step that many students miss. And if you do, you'll still be throwing a quote at your reader.
A wise guy, eh? How do you like that?
Explaining the quote means you show the significance of your quote, what it means, and why it matters. In other words, how does this quote connect back to your claim as evidence that proves your point? Let's walk through this. First, to show what a quote means, you must explain the quote in your own words. This ensures that you understand what it's saying. Here are some sentence starters to help. Going back to our phone example, we add the meaning after our quote. This means students are interrupting their attention dozens of times throughout the day to look at their phones. Really simple quotes don't need this step, but you should get into the habit of demonstrating understanding of the source, especially for a graded essay. The second thing you must do is connect it back to the claim. This shows why it matters. Remember what our claim was? Phones distract students at school. So you add to it. This matters because frequent interruptions make it harder for students to stay focused, causing them to miss important information during class. Boom! And with that, we've got a complete quote. And now it's time to put it all together. Here are all the parts inside a chart. This is a handy-dandy organizer that you can use yourself in your own writing. And here's how it should look inside a paragraph. I've color-coded it so you can see which part is which. Notice the mean and matter portion of the quote is quite long. It should be. Getting the matter section correct is the hardest part of the quote sandwich. You want to push the significance of the quote forward, connecting it back to the claim to show why it matters. How does it impact what you're trying to prove? Impact could be on learning, on behavior, on others, or other long-term consequences. You can use sentence frames to help you, like these. And finally, you can also try the so what test. Read the quote to yourself and ask, so what? If you can answer that, you probably got to the matter portion of the quote. Always ask yourself, how does this prove my claim is true? Because you should never throw a quote at your reader and hope it sticks.
Now you stop that!
Whew! Today's lesson was quite a meal. I hope you all feel quite full from all the learning. As for Kevin, Katie, and Puppy, they're off to the movies. And now it's time to feast. Here we go.